All right, here we are on the Iron Fortress Plan video today. The science of saving muscle and burning fat. Now, right off the bat, this is not a diet video. This is just the science behind certain things that I'll talk about. And, go to your doctor and, talk about the science behind it, and maybe your doctor will, you know, add some more insight to it. So again, this is not a diet plan. This is just the science of saving muscle and burning fat. Now, why the Iron Fortress? Why that metaphor? Well, it's called the Iron Fortress Plan because of the name iron, right? That strong name, iron. Or you can call it the Steel Fortress, or you know. So the goal is to. Here's the goal. Let's write this down. The goal is to build muscle, right? To build a body that's armored with muscle. Your muscles are the armor. So let's write it down here. The muscle, right? Muscles. Pulling muscles from a shell. Little reference there. So the muscles are the armor, right? They're the biological armor. Go right to the moon there. So there's a big misconception in dieting. And again, this is not a dieting video, but when you're trying to lose weight for weight loss, some people have a lot of stored fat. They're overweight and they have a lot of stored fat. So they think that your body will burn the fat first, and that could be a misconception. So some people say, well, if I eat fewer calories, then my body will burn fat, not the muscle. But actually, that's a big misconception. So with this Iron Fortress plan, the whole science behind it is that your body will burn muscle because of survival logic. So let me explain that. Let's get to a clean page. All right, maybe we'll use this color here. It's kind of a light blue color here. So let's look at survival logic in your body. Survival logic. So let's say the scenario is that you're overweight, you have a lot of extra fat. Right? And so you think that by eating less calories, you should be able to lose the fat first. Because one thing we should know is your body's number one goal. Say the number one goal in the body is to survive, right? It's everybody's goal, right? Survive. And so the thing about muscle, here's the thing about muscle. Muscle is biologically expensive. It's expensive. In other words, it requires lots of calories just to exist. Needs lots of calories. So if you have a lot of muscle, you need a lot of calories, right? So you think of a muscle. Think of the muscle. We'll put a little arrow over here. Think of a muscle as a high performance engine. So a high performance, if we could fit it in here, performance engine. Think of it as a jet engine. Should have just said that. But fat. Think about fat. It's cheap storage. It's cheap. Cheap storage. It costs almost zero energy to keep. Right? So you think of fat as it's your emergency. Say like a savings account. Most of the time you don't get a fee for a savings account, right? So again, muscle is expensive, fat is cheap. So here's the logic behind it. If you're eating fewer calories, your body's reaction, well, here's your body's reaction. Let's say your body's talking to you. We're in a famine mode. Energy is low. We need to reduce our expenses immediately. So the logic here is that the science behind it is your body will say, well, let's get rid of the muscle because it's expensive. We don't need these extra calories to survive. So if you're just dieting and you're trying to lose, let's say 10 pounds, whatever the case may be, you're just trying to lose weight, that muscle is it's cheaper to get rid of. And it's cheaper to have more fat. If you think about the logic. So there's a way around this. There's a way around this, obviously. Because if you're lifting weights, to build muscle, or you're lifting weights to build strength and muscle, then your body's saying, well, we need this muscle. We need this. But if you're not lifting weights, you're telling your body, well, you don't need the muscle because you're not using it anyway. So when you lift heavy weights, let's say strength training, and eating less, so you're sending a signal to your body. The signal is saying, hey, we're lifting heavy things every day. So if you eat my muscle, we will be crushed. Say you're doing a bench press. So you're telling your body, you must keep the muscle to survive. And so the body will shift. It will think the muscle is necessary for survival. And what it will do is unlock the emergency savings account, that fat, to make up for the calorie deficit. So let's just review this real quickly. If you're not working out, if you're not lifting weights, and again, you don't have to lift to be a bodybuilder, but if you're not lifting, right, then your body says, well, you don't need the muscle, so we'll just cut the muscle. So if you try to diet when you're just eating fewer calories, the body could, get that extra calories from muscle. So yes, you will lose weight, but you will also lose muscle. So you'll lose weight and be weaker. But if you could incorporate, again, lifting weights, then the body will look at fat if you're to get the extra storage. And that's what you want. You want it to burn the extra fat. So let me just add one more thing. Let me clear this out here. All right, I'll get that same color. Why not? So there's a thing called sarcopenic obesity. Fancy word we have here. Let's write it down. Sarcopenic obesity. And basically, if you weigh yourself on the scale, let's say you're weighing yourself on the scale and you weigh less, but you're weaker. This is exactly what we were talking about. Your metabolism slows down because you lost your muscle engine. You lost that jet engine. That's what sarcopenic obesity is. So the solution, and this happens a lot in older adults too. So you do not want to lose muscle. You don't, and be weak. So when they talk about things like the Iron Fortress plan, they're trying to avoid this. So when you get to older, when you get to age 50 or 60 or 70, whatever the case may be, if you're dieting without lifting, if you're just having less calories without lifting, you're going to accelerate the aging process. But if you diet while lifting, right, you're going to hit that pause button on aging. No, not necessarily, but you won't accelerate aging. So again, talk to your doctor about the Iron Fortress plan, and again, talk to, others about lifting weights. Just don't jump into any of this. Okay, that's our video today.